Shit, that would hurt. Welcome, everybody. I have no idea when this is gonna come out, but we're trying it. We're trying it. So we have a push session today. It's my overreaching week, second workout of the overreaching week, which just basically means I'm doing the heaviest weights that I'm gonna be doing for the entire training block, the most volume, as close to failure as I'm gonna be. So for some movements, it'll be completely at failure where it makes sense. Some movements, it'll be freakishly close to being at failure. So we are starting with cambered bar benching. You see this weird and wacky, wonderful bar. If you follow me on Instagram, Shimmy93 on Instagram, then you've seen me use this a whole bunch. People love it. Fortunately, I love it too. So cambered bar benching, this divot in the middle just allows you to get more range of motion in the stretch, which we've seen in the research and we continue to see more, may be independently hypertrophic, muscle growth promoting, and that's pretty damn good. So we're gonna be doing 4 sets, 6 to 10 reps on here, very close to failure. Probably to failure in some instances, but we'll see. So I'm just warming up on here. I just did a set of around 5 to 7 reps with the plate. I'll do a couple more warm-up sets, and then I'll get to my working weight. And for what it's worth, I think a lot of people spend a lot of time in the warm-up sets making themselves a little bit too fatigued and too tired. We want to save as much juice as we can for the actual working sets. So I only do as little reps as I need to acclimate to the weight that I'm using and feel comfortable, and no more than that. So for most of my warm-up sets, anywhere from probably 3 to 6 reps. Even if I'm doing a sets of 10 or sets of 15 for the working stuff, I still keep it really short. And I don't know if you noticed, cameramen will catch it at some point. If you ever have the pleasure, the luxury of working with a cambered bar, something that's quite important and cool to do is take the bar as high as you can on your chest, pain-free. You actually won't be able, from the outside, to see that it's going down as low, and you'll have to use less weight, but you'll be able to impart more of a stretch on your actual chest musculature, which is sort of the whole point. A lot of people, even when they do benching with a flat bar, they take the bar low, like significantly below the chest line, and it allows them to actually use more load, but the stretch on the chest is not really as pronounced, not as intense. We don't want that. So we do that. 2 plates, woo! Now I'm just gonna do a potentiation set. Now sometimes with a potentiation set, you can use the working weight of the day, but sometimes you can also use a little bit of a heavier weight to really prep the nervous system, and you're only doing 1 to 3 reps, and then when you go back to kind of what you're actually gonna do, it feels better. So I have 235 on here. This isn't a big difference. I'm gonna be doing 230 for the work sets, and I'll just do like 2 reps of this, and then I'll do 230 for my 4 working sets. Every rep should look and feel like your working sets. There's no throwaway reps. There's no wasted energy. Everything, what they say in Lion King? Everything is as it should be. So is that what they say in Lion King? Something like that? That's right. Rafiki knew things. Listen to him. If you can, and you definitely can, unless you live in Somalia or something, have your own training clips. Like, yeah, the gym can have, but it might be taken or broken or 10, 15 bucks. Worth having in your gym bag. And bonus points if you intentionally, unintentionally match your clips to your outfit color. You think this is accidental? You think it's accidental? It is accidental. But hey, I ain't mad at you. I ain't mad at you, Tupac. I ain't mad at you. Just finishing the warm-ups. Yeah, he asked me to film some stuff for Pornhub, so I said, all right, we'll do it. That's fine. It's nothing out of the usual for me. That's a SHIMMY on the hub. You can look it up. You never know what you'll find. In addition to the cue of taking the bar higher, it's also worth being mindful of your arch when you do presses, whether it be with a flat barbell or if you have the luxury of using a cambered bar, so many people, they press with such a significant arch and it looks cool, but frankly, I think it leaves you a little bit wanting and it's really fatiguing. I don't really think that much payoff from a hypertrophy or muscle growth standpoint. So arch enough where you can retract your shoulder blades and subtly expand your rib cage. But the idea of really digging your feet under you and really developing this big brace, I think a lot of time leaves you expending a lot of energy for just not that much to come back with. So enough where your chest is expanded and you're pre-stretched once you take the bar off the rack. But I don't really think that you need to go crazy like C curve in your back. Yeah. You've seen people do that shit, right? You know?
It's like the powerlifting thing.
And it's a trip because to the uninitiated, it looks really cool.
Yeah.
Like it looks right. And yeah, I think specificity just rules, you know? Like.
But why do they do that? It's just so they can have more power, right? In their bench?
So a few reasons. Number one, you're also reducing the range of motion when you do that, right? So if you're bringing your upper body to meet the bar a bit more, a little bit less room to travel, and powerlifting, the objective of the game is obviously to use as much load as possible. That is the point. With bodybuilding or physique stuff, it's almost like we don't want to use as little weight, we just want to use what's enough to get the job. We don't want anything more than that. Yeah. So the porn director here behind the camera, he asked me the bar weight. He asked me if the bar is 45. And I said, I don't know. Quite frankly, I don't care. Because at the end of the day, if you're tracking and you're writing everything down week over week in your app, in your phone, pen and paper, black and white notebook and Ticonderoga pencil, whatever you write week over week is what it's gonna be. So as long as you're tracking the progression, you could call the bar 5 pounds, you could call it 45 pounds. It doesn't matter because it will wash out in the end so long as you're tracking the progression. I call everything 45 pounds because it just makes it simple. The leg press cart's 45 pounds, the hack squat machine's 45 pounds. This is 45 pounds. Your mother's ass is 45 pounds.
Then you go into your day on Sunday, bright sunshine out there, and it is going to be hot.
Yeah. I told you, it's the God angle, bro. Yeah. When you take it higher, it really is a thing though. Like you'll see when you try it on your own. When you take it low on your chest, yeah, it's whatever. But when you take it high and you flare, so long as no pain, that's like the biggest thing, it really is like, whoa. You know what I'm saying? Like this is definitely where I parked my car. We finished top sets. So what do you do when your son is at home crying all alone on the bedroom floor because he's hungry? Did you get that reference? No? Caramel, whatever. Anyway, what do you do when you're doing the movement and the movement feels fantastic? You have a rep range that you've predetermined for yourself. And you've done a fair bit of sets that you're falling out of the rep range, but the movement still feels really good. But you know you can't keep using the same weight because you'll be out of the rep range. Cue down sets. All down sets are a reduction by anywhere from 10 to 20% of the top end load that you were doing to get you either back in the rep range that you had pre-planned to do, or to even raise you up a rep range to drive an even further volume accumulation. And it's still effective volume because you're still training very, very close to failure. So I used 230 here. So now I'm gonna go down to 195 and still get back in that 6 to 10 rep range. So it's about a 15% reduction. It'll still be difficult because I've done 4 working sets with this already. So it will still be quite hard, but it will still be quite effective. down sets are worth your time to try. But be mindful of how many down sets you do, because these can really get away from you and you can down set till the cows come home, and you don't want to do that. So tread softly, move slowly. So I'll do 1 or 2 sets of this, and then we'll move on to a fly movement. To stretch, 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 stretch. When it comes to pressing, in general, I also find not taking the sets to complete muscular failure to where you need someone to help you press it up. I found that not to be a very fruitful experience, and I find that it really hurts the performance of the succeeding sets for not really that much of a payoff. Whereas if you were to train pretty close, so once your concentric or pressing tempo noticeably slows down, rack the weight, you can always just do another set. So instead of taking something to the teeth and doing 10 as a max, maybe do 8, because your next set, you'll probably get 7, and then 7 again. Whereas if you did, let's say 10 on the first, you're probably gonna get 6 on the next one, then you're probably gonna get 4, and then you're gonna be really tired. Really tired. And if you were to do the math, what, if I leave 1 or 2 reps more, it's really gonna matter? It's all effective anyways, you know? When you think about it simple, stupid like that, it's like, yeah, what's the big deal? There are some movements where I'll give credence to going to failure a little bit more often, where I think it makes sense. But when it comes to pressing stuff, for most people, because the chest seems to be quite fast twitch for a large majority of people, I think not going to failure is probably a good idea overall. And what's also funny is that it seems to be way easier to go to failure on pressing, because it's intuitive. It's like, what do you mean? I press, so I can't go anymore. And like mentally, it's actually way harder to hold back and be like, but I can do more. I can. I think I can. I think I can. Yes. Don't do it, Peter Pan. Don't do it. So the next movement that we have on the docket, machine flies. Couple points when doing machine flies that I like that may or may not be things you've heard before. Number 1, I like to keep the weight in my palm, elbows up nice and high. I just find this to be more comfortable on my elbows with a little bit less pressure or tension on my biceps. Could be a me thing, could be a useful thing. You'll have to try it and see. So instead of having this with an open palm, I'll actually sort of crimp my hand like this, keep the weight there. I lower, but lower wouldn't be the verb. I raise, I bring back. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know how when you're saying you're lowering the weight, but you're really raising the weight? It's like, what direction are we fucking going in? When I bring the weight back, I try to elevate my chest to continue expanding, pause in the most stretched position where I feel like I can still produce force, and then I come not actually all the way up. I'll come maybe 90% of the way up and then come all the way back down. Reason being, the peak contraction doesn't seem to be all the rage that a lot of us thought that it was. And I might use the peak contraction for variation now and again, but currently I'm doing these machine flies coming almost all the way up. Plus, also, not for nothing, this machine is almost a built-in bias to the lengthened position because it gets real weird when you bring them together. There's like a weird Dawson's Creek happening. It's good, huh? You didn't see that one coming. It's a good Dawson's Creek at the top, and I cannot feel. So I do not feel. That's my oinch, soinch accent right there. So when you're doing this, you really want to make sure you get your chest in line with the handles. Don't ask. Just watch me do flies, don't ask. I say things. sort of detect the governing chip of when to end the set, when you notice that your shoulders are no longer able to maintain the retraction that you had them set in at the start of the set. So when you start, you have an expanded rib cage and pulled back shoulder blades, retracted shoulder blades. But as the song continues, verse 1, verse 2, chorus, when you get to the bridge, if this starts to happen, it's almost time to roll credits on the set. It's not bad, huh? Not bad. Not bad. Hey, sets of 10 to 15 reps. We're going to a little high over rep range because doing this for sets of 6 to 10 don't make no damn sense. Can't do that, mate. Shit is bollocks, mate. It's not good. It's not good. No, but really, doing flies in a lower rep range kind of doesn't make a lot of sense to me, especially with a machine fly. If you're doing this with a really controlled eccentric lowering and a pause, sets of 10 to 15 is like Goldilocks. Is just so nice. If you're doing 20 on a first set with controlled eccentrics and a bottom pause, that set is gonna be like 2 minutes long. Your forearms or biceps might be the limiting factors. That's just not pleasant, it's not what we want. So I think 10 to 15 is like a really nice spot with something like this. Whereas if you were gonna do like a free weight dumbbell fly, especially with slow eccentric and an end range pause, believe it or not, sets of 8 to 12 still feel really, really groovy. They generate a lot of tension and it's really, really nice. Which kind of kicks dirt in the face of, oh, when you do flies, you have to do them only in sets of 15, sets of 20. I found with dumbbell flies, that's not the case. But with something like this, machine, 15 on a first set, or if you're not doing pauses, then yeah, 20 on a first set is fantastic. And you can do a little bit of a shorter rest period too. Doesn't have to be 3 or 4 minutes like your presses. Okay, next set, Shim. Next set. Feeling stuff in places with people doing things. Yeah, that checks out.
Hey, yo.
Bruh. That checks out. Also, get you a gym that plays movies the entire time that you're working out.
You can always play Arnold, pumping iron.
So I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about they play real movies. Like the other day I was training legs and they had X-Men on. They had The Matrix on. I'm like, this is what I want. I want you to completely distract me from the thing that I need to be doing until I need to do it. Such bad advice. I should be like, stay in the moment, stay there. Like, bro, I want to know how Neo ducks the 5-0. You know, he's ducking the ops.
No, I say that to my clients. I'm like, yo, I'm here to entertain and distract you from working out while you actually work out.
Right.
Most of my clients don't want to work out.
Sure.
My job is to make you want to work out. So if I gotta make stupid jokes for you to come in and like make it enjoyable.
And I want to ask you this, like, have you ever trained with someone who they're so locked into the workout that even when you're not working out, like they're so in that you're like, bro, relax. Like when it's time to do the thing better than anyone. But when it's not time, bro, let me live. Like, tell me a joke. Talk to me about the stock market. Let's talk about why 4C breadcrumbs are the best breadcrumbs for frying chicken. Like,
Quiet, it just makes the session so much longer than it has to be.
I don't know. I think for a very certain sect of people like myself, and I'm sure you, who we're all already so intrinsically motivated, like, I don't need you to tell me, get up, bro, let's go. I know, I got it. So like, let me be. Like, yeah, like let's have this be a good time. Like, I'm gonna have to die in between my sets regardless. So like, I could die and relax and probably recover better, or I could just like continue to die. And that's no fun. That's no fun. Like, the shit is fight or flight anyways. right? And this is something else, but I always find when I'm coaching people, helping someone through a set, cueing, I don't know if you're the same with your clients, you're in fight or flight. So I don't want to gas someone up, unless they're the kind of person who lacks motivation, that's different. But if you're the kind of person that already really likes to train, I want to like relax you. Just focus, do what you're doing. It's already like a high stress situation. Chill the fuck out and just lock in with what you're doing, you know?
Yeah, that's one thing I always say is like, relax, but control the movement.
Facts.
You can't be too stiff.
Facts. Facts. Can never be too stiff. There I do go. That's correct. And a word on how many sets to do for a body part within a session. I think there's a large group of people that do way too much, largely because the effort is not there. And I think there's inversely a large group of people that don't do enough because there's, dare I say, too much effort, too much emphasis on the failure that fatigue times them out. You want to be somewhere in the middle. So I think for most people, probably anywhere from 3 to 10 sets per workout for one body part makes sense to me. Today, I'm in my hardest week, so my volumes are at their highest. So today is actually 10 sets of chest for the session. Some people might say that's nothing. Some people might say, oh my God, that's a lot. I think that's a fair bit when the movement quality, effort, exercise selection, technique, intent, when that's all there, it's a fair bit. We did 6 sets of cambered bar bench, 4 top sets, 2 down, and then 4 sets now of machine flies. What else could I do? What else is there? Do you know what I'm saying? Like heavy pressing with a lot of emphasis, tension in the stretch is done. Then a stretch movement. What are you gonna tell me next, right? Like high rep push-ups, dips, for what? I did the deed, right? Like I accomplished the task. Time to move on to greener pastures. All right, one more set. I'm actually going to go up because I think I can handle it. Get at least 10. I gotta do laterals. Yeah, wave the flag. So much weight, yay. Yeah, it's whatever. You know what's so funny? So funny, I think because I've put such an emphasis on making lightweights feel heavy and such an emphasis on technique that like, I don't so much care. So whenever I use weights that are like not light, I'm like, something's wrong. Something's wrong. Like I should change my technique or something. Like it's not right. But it's also now a function of like, time, right? Like time spent doing the thing, load progression happens no matter what. So I know what you're asking yourself, other than how does this man have salon quality hair at 9 in the morning? It's just, that's just God. Why am I laying on the floor here? I know, I ask myself that every time I do this workout. So these are lying cuff laterals. Nothing special about them, just variation. But when you do these, it allows you to put the lateral delt on stretch, which is great. Doesn't really have much pressure on your elbows or biceps due to the nature of the weight being on your wrist with the cuff. No grip being a limiting factor. And we take all the pressure off the spine because you get to lay down. So if any of you guys have seen X-Men from the year 2000 or Spider-Man, it's like that. This is how you feel. That's how it's gonna look. I know, it took 8 minutes. Shit took 8 minutes to do. When you do these, you do also want to make sure that you take them out to the side and not up, yeah? You can pause at the bottom or not. Either one is valid, both amazing, and raise it up as high as you possibly can. I'm doing this in the 10 to 20 rep range, but 10 to 15, 12 to 20, I wouldn't probably do anything less than 15 on our first set here. Instability, awkward, just not nice. I don't want that. We want to be nice. Be nice. Do it like that. This will be the only lateral delt movement for the day because I train lateral delts 3-4 times a week. So I generally only do one movement and I can really pack the volume. So these will be like 5 or 6 sets, which is a fair bit, but lateral delts seem to be able to handle it.
So you focus on lateral delts a lot?
3-4 times a week.
Other over parts of the shoulder, or do you hit it evenly?
So I don't train rear delts directly at all. I find that full range of motion back training done with moderate to high volumes, especially when you train a fair bit of upper back stuff, chest supported, high row type things, I find the rear delts get sufficient stimulation from that. And then I do a little bit of front delt work, but again, oftentimes if someone can do more front delt work, if they have the recovery means, just do more chest training. You know what I mean? But I'll do anywhere from 2 to 5 sets a week of front raises, and that's it. So I mostly just focus on lateral raise and upright row variations. Yeah, because those don't really get sore and they can recover and handle a fair bit of volume. And they also seem to be rep range resistant, as in if you set this to be in the 10 to 20 rep range, you won't experience a 5 or 6 rep drop off rep set over set like you might with hamstrings or chest presses or something that's more fast twitch in nature. You might do 20 on a first set here, then get 19, 18, 17, 16. It's great, and that's useful data. That means it can handle higher volumes. But sadly, that probably also means that it's slower twitch and that it probably will never get that big. You ever seen people that do sign language at a concert? So I saw a video of someone, a signer at the Yin Yang Twins concert. So they're doing like Get Low. And the signer, when they were doing the chorus, it was like all skeet skeet. She was like,
No way.
I swear, it was so funny. So funny. The comments were like, the greatest job in the world does exist. I was like, fact though, facts. Oh, this is important also, people. Write your shit down. This is the calendar app in my phone. And this is where I write down my daily workouts. Not that this is anything special. You can use an app, you can use Excel, whatever. I use the calendar app in my phone for daily workouts. I use the notes app in my phone to write a skeleton of my entire workout program. And then I have an Excel spreadsheet back home as my master. And then I add everything there at the end of the week. Is it complicated? Yeah. Whatever. Welcome to being semi-neurotic. So first of all, thank you all for coming. It was a pleasure having you here. I hope you enjoyed watching me train chest and shoulders. Hopefully you learned some things that you can take home and action item today or tomorrow with yourself and your clients, because that's the whole point of this stuff, for me to help you. The knowledge is free. Please consider subscribing, like, comment, follow, all that kind of shit. Shimmy93 on Instagram, that's SHIMMY 93, the year I was born. And I hope to get another one of these out to you guys post haste, because it's fun. And I think I live better in long form anyways. So have a wonderful day. I'll catch you guys on the flippity.